Hello, darling. So, sometimes as believers, we find it hard to share the gospel with other people, maybe in our workplaces and all that. And deep down, I don't know, deep down, you know that you're enjoying some good benefits. You being saved, like, has protected you from so many things. But sometimes you find it hard to share the good news with other people. I don't know why we do that because sometimes when we have good news, even you or I, like anytime you have good news, regardless of whether if you've been asked or not, most of the time we will tend to just share the good news because they've been good. I think this the same case should apply to our salvation or even to all our walk with Christ. Daily we are enjoying the benefits that come with us being saved. Why do we find it hard to share the gospel? So one thing is that first of all we need to realize or to know that it's not by our own strength even we can share the gospel. So first thing we need to acknowledge that it is the Holy Spirit who is going to give us the boldness to speak the gospel to others. So first let's acknowledge it's not by our own willing and all that or our own strength. We need to acknowledge the help of the Holy Spirit to give us boldness to share the gospel. So we have instances in the Bible whereby, regardless of facing persecution or being rejected and all that, and being arrested, we have disciples or we had followers who were referred in the book of Acts of those that were referred to as Christians. Wherever they went, they spoke the gospel with boldness, regardless of them facing persecutions, of them being arrested and all that. They stay wherever they went because the gospel was so, like they had seen, they had experienced, I think, the gospel, they had experienced Christ for themselves. So they could not keep it to themselves. So there was this time that Peter and John were arrested. And now this is what they're telling them. Because the council or the Pharisees and all, they just don't tell them. Anytime they would arrest them, they would tell them that you stop speaking or inciting people about this Jesus of yours. He was never the Messiah and he never resurrected. He never resurrected. So they was that telling them, trying to tell them to shut up. But now this was the reply of Peter and John. So Peter in Acts chapter 4 verse 20, we cannot but speak the things which we have seen and heard. So any another thing that I think or I feel that makes it hard for us sometimes to share the gospel with others is because we have not seen sometimes God's mighty or we have not experienced God for ourselves. So we find it hard. Maybe you have experienced some glimpse of Him, so not fully. So sometimes you find it hard. But it's the small experience you've had of God. Share that small experience as major and major experiences of you and God are coming. But the moment you don't acknowledge and share it out, it hinders other experiences of us with God. So First Peter chapter 3 verse 15 says, always be ready to give a defense to everyone who asks you a reason for the hope that is in you. Let's like be ready to give a defense to everyone who asks you about the hope. As a believer, when someone asks you, why do you believe? Can you give a defense towards that? So if you can be able to give a defense towards that, that means whatever you believe is it has a foundation and all that. So you can it. becomes even easier for you to share it with others. And as we tend or go to become witnesses for Christ, I wish you a blessed and an amazing day. Ciao. See you.